One thing I've come to learn over decades of studying Torah from masters of diverse Torah philosophies and backgrounds and groups, with both a loving heart but a highly critical mind, having functioned on one hand as an Orthodox rabbi for years, rooted in ancient Sephardic and Yemenite Torah, all that, but coming from an academic background, lightly religious, 26, 27 years ago, and by the way, now finding myself at the cutting edge of academic research in two fields. One thing over all these years of bringing brilliant people to Torah, some more intelligent and educated than myself in various fields, and strengthening educators and the bridge between Torah and academic research, is how one man's medicine can be another person's poison. I've learned to be squeamish, to be careful, to be so guarded from sharing what excites me, what floors me, and how core Torah tradition has been so beautifully vindicated today by what has been discovered and reconstructed in recent years in scientific circles. Lest I confuse and upset non-rationalist wired people, those raised in very narrow-minded, traditional, magical thinking when it comes to Torah, lest I get myself into trouble, my children, my students. But fear cannot be allowed to stifle and contain truth. And we're clearly here coming from the right place, not to put anyone down, not to replace mainstream thought that clearly works for a lot of people, but simply to inspire and to teach to inspire those higher educated who have fallen between the cracks, those for whom the mainstream solutions are not working. With full respect to those reaching out to the simple-minded who respond to the emotional arguments, the 𝙘𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙨𝙚, the herring, delicious, but there needs to be someone to answer the jaded, the disillusioned, those who would not only go for the red pill, they live for it. And that's leading them to dark places. What makes me, by the way, uniquely suited to this, Baruch Hashem, is not only my vast archive of research, of explicaria, built up over so many years, to just building myself up, thanks to my brilliant students and colleagues and friends, to answer questions that others are unable to, but how I've learned over the years, not merely to enjoy being right, but to enjoy at least as much to love when I'm wrong. My ability to not merely question mainstream scientific opinion, which is just, all too popular in religious circles, but our very perception of Torah being questioned when the research with the science is kind of undeniable, and to question my own paradigms, which leads me to solutions that can rekindle faith, emunah, for the most educated, critical, and yet open minds. Those who are ready for a larger picture truth, still rooted deeply in tradition, but one that not only embraces the tradition, through all of the funnels, over the centuries, okay, but a broader toolkit of ancient, essential Israelite Mesorah tradition. That is what big picture Torah is about. And our reboot of our much beloved course, Secrets of Genesis 2.0, over the course of 15 classes, we aim and we will succeed in strengthening, deepening, and informing your rational faith in HaShem, God and his creation, showing them to work seamlessly with confirmed science, leaving plenty of room, by the way, for the unknown, that which is still undiscovered. That's key. You see, our model for synthesizing creation, the verses of Bereshith with cosmology, according to this simple understanding of the text, does not hang merely on the current understanding of the birth of the universe, the Big Bang, which could soon be overturned, right? And what are people going to do then? Okay, but something much more robust, something that can stand the test of time. Yes, by the way, confirmed science includes the basics of evolution as it is now understood, as opposed to, just Charles Darwin of 150 years ago. So many times the Torah that, where secular minds don't believe in, we don't believe in that either. And so many times the evolution, the science that, deniers don't accept, that's not even the science in question. So guys, between the arch secular and the arch religious, okay, the rest of us, who is ready to put their prejudices aside and see how these pointless arguments over Genesis, Bereshith, are mostly spin based on ignorance on both sides? And who is the winner in the end? The divine truth of our core tradition, which, yes, stands vindicated, tall, and strong. Your faith in the Torah can be restored, strengthened, when you see how accurate the biblical timeline is. That is the timeline of Genesis narratives that perhaps you never understood before, all without resorting to cop-out compromises like the Garden of Eden as a metaphor, etc. We will give you token points that suggest divine inspiration. It being very difficult to propose that even brilliant people in ancient times could have known certain things, even as late as the Iron Age. And now you're thinking, Mori, that the Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses was from before the Iron Age. No, it's important to take into consideration that later redaction of the text is not only clear and undeniable, but ironically, it's critical to our defense of the Torah from Moses and was known to some of the greatest rabbinical minds. We will give you tools to debunk, by the way, the documentary hypothesis, the multiple authors, JPED, that, all this while remaining perfectly loyal to reliable archaeology. So much has been discovered over the last century that both sides are unaware of. That and a mature, balanced approach to scientific dating that we will help you understand, how it works, how those techniques work. There is no need, by the way, to resort to magical thinking or the supernatural when the text is understood in its native sense. There's just simply no physics denying or physics pushing miracles to speak of, only miracles according to the meaning of the Hebrew word for it, nisim, banners, flag events that leave us with this undeniable sense that there is a creator, a king, an author to our existence. All this becomes possible when we do something very simple, the basic work of defining our terms, the most basic terms and principles, properly and consistently sticking to them. Yes, that even includes a partial possible definition of HaShem himself, forgive me, one that is given plainly in Talmudic literature and borne out by everything observed in nature and found in tradition. Yes, a world that has uncovered the most eloquent physics and mathematical equations that describe the universe. Yes, in our day, we can consider ourselves closer to understanding him in certain ways than we were 3,500 years ago. That too is from him. All this becomes possible when we make the bold choice to put imagination aside and respect the limits of a Gaddec rabbinical tradition, and yet not dismiss its importance altogether, to recognize the keys of understanding provided within the Torah text itself, and pick up the great tools of rational interpretation gifted us by the Torah giants of the past, the greatest of our rabbis, thinkers, and Kohanim, the very tools ignored by more magical thinking Torah leaders over the centuries, who have unfortunately, in our age of science, brought the Torah's reputation to mockery and disgrace, and turned off countless intelligent minds of our nation. Yes, we can do all of this without falling into the modernist traps, on the other hand, of moral relativism and denial of the Torah's historicity that other rationalist rabbis, colleagues I respect, have fallen into. Yes, there is a middle path. That is no mere lukewarm, wishy-washy compromise that really satisfies neither side, but something awesome and spiritually inspiring, I think, and definitely my students and colleagues in and of itself. Our courses are aimed at reclaiming this all too ignored side of our heritage and to take it forward in light of so much that has been discovered over just the last 40 years, showing how the historicity of the Torah, that in its simplicity, is more defendable than ever before. Join us for a free introductory class. No obligation to buy the course. This Sunday, not this Sunday, next Sunday, July 10th. Okay, that's Sunday, July 10th. See, sign up information just below the video. Please give us a like and share our video with like minds. Thank you, and looking forward to seeing you there.